Welcome to SAS, short and sweet tips for the business sector from the Case Mastermind Group. Okay, so does that lead us up nicely to tip number 2?
It does. Leads in very nicely to my second tip, which is around sifting of CVs. We have been doing this for a very long time, and so we tend to receive anywhere from around 100 to 350 applications per vacancy, which tends to mean that we need to have a process to be able to read them, and read them fairly, and read them fast, but also effectively. Because you want to make sure that you are reading them fairly. You know, it's if someone's taken the trouble to apply for the job, you at least want to treat everybody fairly.
Yes.
So the way that we do it, is we have a list. We have a list of criteria. So this is my tip around, before you start reading CVs, have a list of what are the absolute must-haves here. What do these candidates need to absolutely bring in terms of skills and experience? What are the absolute critical factors that I need to see in this CV? And then also have maybe 2 or 3 things that are sort of nice to have as well. So you want to keep your list to a maximum. We would suggest a maximum of around 8 things. And then literally score each person against that list that you've come up with. If you do that, it focuses your mind much more against what you're looking for in a CV, rather than just randomly flicking through them and thinking, well, that one looks okay, and well, I'm not sure, I need to go back to that one and compare that one to that one. And you can spend hours upon hours reading CVs if you don't have a clear process of how to do it.
Yeah, sure. And I like that point that you made there. So it's because so many people approach an interview process, you know, a lot of people tend to just go online and Google it and put all this stuff in, and all of a sudden, you know, an interview becomes this thing with about 50 questions and scenarios and all of this, and it just becomes a little bit messy. So I like that point, bringing it down to a focus, up to a maximum of 8 points. That must then get the clarity right, mustn't it?
I mean, when we're working with our customers, obviously we talk to them about, you know, what's important to them. We come up with what we think they should be looking for, and when we work in conjunction with them. We liaise with them throughout the whole process. But what you're trying to get to is you're trying to get to spending no more than 1 or 2 minutes per CV, because otherwise, as I've just said, you can just spend hours doing this, and then at the end of it, you're still none the wiser as to whether you've got the right people or not.
Yes, yeah. No, absolutely. So it's obviously a critical area where you're going to try to filter them out, and not over. And because there must be a danger in that process that that you could filter out a really good applicant at too early a stage, couldn't there?
Yeah, we have what's called a reserve list when we're shortlisting people. So we obviously, you know, you have to kind of have some leeway somewhere throughout this process. Yeah. And somebody could score really well in 7 out of the 8 list. And clearly, you know, you've got to have some idea in your own mind of what's the cut-off point for you. Who am I going to allow in? What score am I going to allow for people to be sifted in or sifted out? And then we still have a reserve list. So we invite all of these people, obviously, to come to an assessment day, which is the next topic I'll talk about. But it also makes it a fairer process if a candidate asks you for feedback on their CV. Because if you're saying to somebody, look, I'm really sorry, but you've not been shortlisted on this occasion, 9 times out of 10, they're going to want to understand why. And actually, if you can go back to them and say, well, look, this was the criteria I was given by the client, and your CV didn't demonstrate as much in this area as it did in other areas, and some other candidates were stronger, it helps them to better their CV in the future.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's really good. So yeah, there's a bit of a feedback process on both sides, I assume, to the employer, to the candidate. So it's actually helping on both sides of the coin, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we've got that process there. Thank you for spending time with us today. This has been brought to you by the Case Mastermind Group. Please be sure to follow us in the links to this message. Please give your real, honest feedback on what you have just heard and share what you enjoyed or liked the best. We really do check the feedback that we receive. Please also share with your friends who you believe could benefit from it, just to show you care. To our listeners, remember, no matter where you are on the mountain of success, let's enjoy the journey together to the top. We will see you there, my friends.